Wow! I feel the goo. I know that I will now. I feel the goo. I knew that I would now. So much goo. So much goo. I got a you.
Yo, what's good, guys? We're back. Two-time Guucast attendance or attendee, plus three-time YCS champion, formerly two-time. What? But which is two is before three, I guess. That's actually a relevant comment I made. But we're here, with the goat, man, dude. I'm excited to do this podcast, this Guucast again, with Joshua, and we're gonna be talking today mainly about, first of all, winning a YCS with Josh, but secondly, bro, we gotta figure out the goo for YCS Minneapolis. We're scrambling out here. So, but if you guys don't know who Josh is, you're just behind. All right, you can check him out at twitch.tv / Joshua Schmidt Yugioh. All of his information will be in the description box if you haven't already. If you already know who he is. But let's get right into it today. So Josh,
subscribe to Josh, or you misplaying already.
so Josh, bro.
So
3-time, man. How does it feel to be 3-time?
I mean, I still don't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. It is very much unbelievable. Every single one of these wins feels like special. So it's not like, it doesn't get less amazing only because you've done it before, I feel like.
Yep.
Still, like, you sit there, you stand there, you can't really, you don't understand what's happening, because you try for so long, and then at some point, like, you're so used to, like, you just get used to, like, being unlucky that one day or making a misplay on the other day, and your run just ending at some point, and you're like, okay,
next time,
hopefully next time, and then, like, and then just, like, someday it just doesn't end.
Yeah.
And it was one of those days, and those are the best days ever. So yeah,
dude, you gotta figure out another pose for the 4-time, bro. Like, you gotta be like, what do you want to say? Just be like,
my least concern. The post is my least concern.
Yeah, that's fair. So we have YCS Minneapolis coming up. That's this weekend, and of course we have Pasadena, Dortmund in November, as well as Costa Rica at the end of November. So which YCSs are you attending? So for the people listening in case they want to meet you in person.
So unfortunately for this year, I'm only planning on attending Dortmund. I haven't planned any travels to the US or any other YCSs yet.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to change like last minute. I promised some of my friends from America that I was going to come over at the latest next year. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen at some point.
Hey.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna make my way over next year again, but sadly not planned for this year.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
so unfortunate that
Yeah.
they posted the YCS exactly the day in which we were supposed to do the Guucast live in the locals, in the OTS store. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's quite sad.
Because I really
okay, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening in might not understand the context, we Nesh, Josh, and I were actually supposed to go to Germany the same weekend that they just announced like a German YCS. We got invited by an OTS store to, like, come play, hang out, film Guucast live. But of course, the YCS taking precedent is it's making it quite hard for us to make the trip. But hey,
We'll probably figure something out.
we'll figure something out. We'll keep you guys posted. But have you so I know you're just off like Darkwing Blast just got announced. Have you thought at all about like what the new best deck is? Do you still think Runic Strike is still viable? I think that's what everyone's thinking about right now. So
yeah. That's also just been my main question I've been getting like on stream and on my videos. Is like, what are you gonna do after Darkwing Blast? Is it the same stuff as before? I've thought about it. We've looked at the cards. Like, I've looked at the cards on my own. We've looked at the cards on stream. I've prepared a video about it, but like, I haven't really. Of course, I've been mainly focused on Utrecht completely because I wasn't planning on attending Minneapolis, and So just literally until last week, my mind was completely focused on just like Utrecht. I was trying to ignore everything Darkwing Blast related simply because I didn't want to like have it take up space in my mind for Utrecht. And that's why I don't really have like an answer on what's going to be the best deck. I have some like bestial cards are amazing. They're going to help a lot of decks out. I think branded, tier limit, bestials, tough type of decks are solid. I don't see a reason why Runic Sprite shouldn't be at least viable. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely like solid.
Do you think it's just because like the deck, like Runic Sprite, I would say is a very technical deck. You have a lot of decision points you have to make, especially because you lose your battle phase. So you have to like be thinking about like, okay, how do I clear those monsters? Do I leave him on those monsters and like just kind of like let him keep it and play on his turn? Like there's a lot of decision trees that need to be made. Do you think that you would recommend that deck for people like trying to like pick it up after seeing you won? Or do you think that like there's not enough time for because a lot of people they're still deciding what to play, and we have like 3-4 days to the YCS. So what would you recommend for people trying to like pick up a deck last minute?
Yeah, in general, I'm like I never tell people to not play a deck only because they're not good with it yet, because I think that's the best process of the best way of learning the game is to play stuff that you're not able to play yet, because otherwise you're never going to learn it. Of course, if you only have like 2 days left before the YCS and you want to do as well as you can, and you really don't think you can like master the deck, because the deck is hard. I think it's why I also enjoy it so much is because it is very, very different from normal Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay. Like without a battle phase, the complete everything changes, and it's very, very complicated. I enjoy it a lot because of that. But I mean, if you want to do as much as well as possible in the YCS, and you don't think you can learn it in 2 or 3 days, which is very reasonable, you've got to be honest to yourself. Like maybe in the long run you want to try and learn the deck, but if you want to do as well as you can in this upcoming YCS in 3 days?
3 days, yeah.
Then maybe you do want to like pick something that you have more experience with. But I mean, there's nothing speaks against at least trying. Maybe you're a natural and maybe you're already good at a game and you'll probably have an easier time learning it. Maybe if you have enough time the next couple days, maybe you can do it. I think it's still going to be a solid choice unless people come prepared for it, because I think that's the bigger issue. I don't think the issue is Darkwing Blast invalidating the deck or making other decks so much stronger, because there's also some stuff in Darkwing Blast for the deck, which we can talk about if you guys want to. But like,
yeah, let's do that.
It's that the deck. I don't think the deck gets worse with Darkwing Blast. I think if anything, the deck gets worse because of how well it did in Utrecht, right? Because like, I think Sprite was something that people underestimated before Utrecht.
Yeah.
Me included. I mean, I didn't underestimate Sprite. I obviously knew how good it was. That's why I brought it. But I underestimated how many would still bring it and do well with it, right? I felt like it was going to be way more like tier limits. And I played like against 2 tier limits in Swiss. It's like...
I mean,
it was like,
do we want to talk about that? Do we want to talk about why people brought so many Sprites in the tournament? The leak, boys. The leak. The deck list of Joshua was leaked through the entire venue, and people were not on the deck of Joshua, and they switched.
Bro,
and this man right here, still shit on all of them. He shot hard on all of them.
Bro, you know what's so funny? I think I watched like 10 different Utrecht profiles, and they're all hella similar to your deck. I'm like, huh? I'm like, how did this happen? Like, how did this happen? But I
don't know. I don't know.
That's a story for another time.
To be fair though, there's also a lot of other sprites, right? It was not just Runic sprites. It was also like Evil Twin sprites did well. Other sprite versions.
I was scared of that deck.
Except for Tri Brigade sprite. That deck's just not very good, as I said before.
Shout out to Kamal. He loves that.
Shout out to Cam as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cam, dude. Yo, shout out to Cam.
Yeah.
He called the Runic sprite deck a -1 deck.
Yeah, he said every Runic card's a -1, and he told us to play Flunder.
Poor Cam.
Bro, you know what's...
Maybe I would have done better with Flunder. You never know.
You would have gotten 0th place.
Yes.
But you know what's really funny about about Flunder? Bro, one of the 3 teammates that won Quito actually played Flunder. So he like hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I told you." I'm like, "Bro."
I mean, yo, don't tell Cam, but I was scared of Flunder.
Yeah.
But don't tell him.
Yeah, true. Mannequin KS Hunter, GG. But
Well, yeah, if they shifter you, but like in general, like I mean, it's just the nature of the deck. Everyone's scared of Flunder. That doesn't mean you should play it. But...
Bro, I saw a Flunder player did the most disgusting thing to Asala. I think it was like evenly match. He kept like Elf. He got Ultimate Slayered, and then he went normal summon Robina, get Ash, chains Callby, chain Veiler, chain the quick play spell to the Biz. I'm like, bro, you were meant to win the YCS. I was
Wait,
like,
so what is it? What was it? 2 evenly called by Robina.
I think it was like double evenly call by, quick play to dodge, the Robina normal summon, and ultimate slayer on the elf. Bro, it's wraps. Like that's a 6-card combo.
Wait, does it? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Going second. It's a legitimate 6-card combo. I literally was perplexed. I'm like, no way. Like that's a hand out of like I was like, that's crazy. But I don't know, that's Flunder. Bro, should I play Flunder this weekend?
Run it.
Run it? Alright.
Don't do it. I'm gonna literally create a song only to roast you if you do that.
Yeah, guys, if you catch me at the Future Match this weekend, shout out to Joji Orlando who's gonna be commentating this weekend. But if you catch me at the Future Match this weekend, you see me playing Flunder, don't hate me, guys. It's what I need to win, man. I need to win, bro.
He's down bad.
Now, Josh, I have a question for you. Now, back in the days, through the Dragon Ruler format, there were the hidden rule on how to play Dragon Ruler in the mirror. Did you add a sort of hidden rule to, a goal to accomplish in the mirror on how to enter your board, on how to break your opponent's board in order to gain advantage in the mirror?
I don't feel like there's like an easy rule, like, you know, like back in the day it was things like never maxi on Reacton or Burner, because those were the ones where they could literally just pass, and if you did it on like the small dragon that summons Tidal or the small one that summons Tempest, then they couldn't stop because of like Crimson Blader, right?
Yes.
Something like, there's not like one, I don't think there's one key interaction like that. I think the biggest things to be aware of in the mirror matches is the spots where you can or cannot use Runic Destruction to destroy the field spell. I think that's one very key thing to play around with, where sometimes it's possible for your opponent to chain a Runic spell to protect it because they don't have something in the extra Marser zone. So those are the spots where you really don't want to try and get rid of their Runic Fountain with the destruction effect. That's also something that I've played like, what, 6 or 7 mirrors, and I won all of them, which not all of them were like skill differences. It's some of them I just like went first and you know.
Yeah.
how do we say it? I OD'd on them? Yes, I did that.
+6.
And but there were a couple where like they would go for like plays to destroy my field spell, and I would simply go like chain Runic to protect it, and they were like surprised, why is this field spell not gone now? Where's your Mooning going? Yugioh going? I'm like, yeah, okay, it does that. Stuff like that. I don't think the mirror is much about like one big interaction. It's a lot of small ones, and I think if you're like just slightly worse than your opponent, I think in the long run, making slightly worse trades and using cards slightly inefficiently makes a big difference over the course of the mirror match, because it's like a lot of turns.
Okay.
Also, did you rewatch your future matches?
We watched them on stream together. I think it was a little bit cringe, but they wanted me to rewatch it, so we did.
Okay, so against the Evertune guy, I felt like you were getting too old. What happened in game 2? In the game 2, you went for a Zeus when he was supposed to.
The Zeus was wrong. I'm pretty sure the Zeus was wrong, but I also misplayed, right? I shouldn't have changed starter. Yes. I was being an idiot. I was being an absolute idiot because I forgot that I couldn't summon the Ryo after, and it was not worth getting the red instead of the Ryo. That was worse.
To be honest,
that was much worse.
I was on stream when it happened. I was like, no, Josh knows. Like, Josh is not gonna do this. Like,
no, guys, I absolutely forgot. Like, the thing is,
the chat went crazy when.
Bro, people on stage went crazy. Bro, I was watching that, and I believe I was in Ecuador at the time. I was watching at the airport. I was like, yo. And then when you summoned Thunder King Ryo, and then the crowd, I think the crowd was like, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that. That was like, I think that was the first future match I saw where like people actually said something, but it was crazy.
No, I mean, like it was. I'm glad that they said something, because of course I didn't want that shit to happen. But like it was so bad of me to change a starter. It's just something that it's like, even after all these years, I'm still nervous in feature matches. Okay, I'm still human. If I'm sitting in top 4 of a YCS, I'm still nervous because I want to win that shit. So like yeah, I shouldn't have changed the starter. It was horrible. And I don't think it would have been as close as it was if I just don't change the starter. I don't think you can play
for
through.
Thunder King Rayo, I think it was game on the spot.
Yeah, it's like that's why we played it, because it's like super disgusting to play through Rayo, and it's like I don't think he could have ever done it. So yeah, that was horrible of me, and then I genuinely don't understand why he made Zeus. I don't think my board was threatening to him at all. It's like, what was it? It was Elf Red Mannequin Cat.
Mannequin, yeah. And you got Storm for like 5. Like it was
I had like 2 or 3 cards left in hand after I chained Tip.
Yeah.
And Mannequin Cat summoned blue, right? So I had like at least 2 cards from that, and I think one more, so like 3-card hand, maybe 2-card hand, I don't know. And like I don't think he needs to Zeus to clear my board, because like he can attack over blue, he can attack over elf, he can probably manage to attack over Mannequin Cat as well if he just like, I don't know, makes a big like goes dark and makes a big gigantic with that or something.
Yeah. I think he was also nervous too, to be honest with you.
I mean, fair enough. Like I don't blame him. Yeah. It's just like the Zeus looked easy, right?
Yeah. But Josh, I actually have a really good question, actually. Not as Anesh just reminded me about it, which is, I watched a decent amount of your feature matches. I watch a lot of feature matches in general. It's how I felt like I got a lot better at the game, just because I watch like how people play and like especially like the top players play. And I feel like every time I watch you play, you're pretty composed. Especially, I remember like I think you played in YCS London. You got Imperm on Arma, and then you just passed, but you were like chilling. You were like vibing. Like, and then your opponent like misplayed. I think it was against Cam, right? Or like Din Cam, I think.
Dinka Fam.
Yeah, Dinka Fam. Yeah. And like he played into Imperm column, and you somehow squeezed a win out of like an unwinnable game state. And I felt like even this past YCS just happened. Still, ironically enough, still top 4. Game 1, you like basically like I braked going first and got like cooked. And then game 2, you got stormed for 5, misplayed on the starter, and you were vibing. I maybe you just have a good poker face. Like I don't know. Like
it's not over till it's over. I don't know. It's just I'm too much of a logical person, and I have too many years of experience to like write a game off when it's not over. And I don't know. It's like it's the nature of the game. If I brick, I'm not getting too emotional about it during the game. Like if I'll brick twice in like a top 4 of a YCS, I'll be sad about it. But like after, not like here. If there's still a chance to win, I'll try and take it. I don't know.
I like that.
I've never been much of a person to really mauled at things, or maybe I learned it along the way because I've just noticed that it makes you play worse. It's like those are the worst. The worst tournaments are the ones where you like lose a round early and then you just get too hung up on it and like play worse because of it in later rounds. And at some points I just noticed it doesn't help you when you try to perform well to like worry too much about things like that. I lost round 5 because I misplayed. Round 5 because I misplayed, because I played against Mathmech, and I went for, I don't know why I did it, but I went for I added Smashers in game 3 when going first. And I ended up losing too evenly. It was like I had Eradicator, so I was like, even if he has evenly, it was like in my head, I was like, even if he has evenly, I'm probably gonna Eradicate the rest of a decent chunk of his hand and be fine. But it ended up being something like I Eradicated, he chained Droplet, sent all of his spells to the graveyard, negated my entire board, and I look at his hand and it's Heart Draw Circular, and it's like a subtraction, like an extended. I'm like, okay, fuck, right?
You're out of there.
And like he even leaves me. I have only Fountain left, and I have one runic spell in hand, that the one that pops, right? So I pop the circular, and I'm like, if I draw anything here off of my Fountain, I'm still fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't draw anything. I completely whiffed, and so he just like still gets full setup, gets trap, everything. I draw, and like my hand's like 2 Talons, 2 normal summons, hard draw Thunder King, and like the second Fountain. I'm like, all right, chill, lost. 6 cards in hand, can't play. So like, I don't know. It was still unfortunate, like for him to have like Eradicator, not Eradicator, evenly hard draw circular and extender after my eradicator.
Yep.
But like the play I made, the play I made was weak to that. If I had just gone for starter for carrot, my hand wouldn't have any weakness.
Yeah.
Like I had full combo eradicator. Like my hand doesn't lose ever if I go for starter.
Yeah.
So like even though it was still unfortunate that he had that hand, I didn't have to commit into a play that lost it. Which at the moment I was fully aware that, oh shit, I fucked this up, right? But like I was just like, okay, well, 4-1, we can still do this, yeah, we ended up doing this. So
yeah. I think a good mental is so underrated, right? Like I think what you're describing here is that like having a good mental is like probably one of the most underrated things like for your overall tournament experience, because like the earlier you get tilted or like the earlier you mold and stuff like that, it just makes like it's gonna be like a very, very hard spot to like come back from. And I've seen that
one of the
like,
most
players.
important things.
Yeah,
it's one of the most important things because your mental decides how well you play, and I feel like if you play a lot of tournaments, like luck is probably the smallest of all factors. It's like, yeah, I've lost top cut matches because of luck, but you're not supposed to win every single tournament.
Yep.
It's the ones where you do get lucky, is where you need to be like, where your head has to be clear, right? When you have that hand that would win a final or like a whatever top cut match, and you need to be able to pull through.
Yep.
And that's why I just like, I don't think about these things during a tournament. I write them off as soon as they happened, and I'll have these feelings after, right? If I lose a top cut match because of a misplay or whatever, I'll be sad about it after. But during the moment, it doesn't matter to me, because like as long as I'm in the tournament, I'm in tournament mode. I feel like
I like that. I'm gonna take that approach. Or like try to do more of that. I think this weekend, because I think that's a very good point. Especially if you guys are listening in, like if you get sacked with the Flunder player, just stay. I think it's important to stay chill. I like that. But anyways, Nesh, anything on your end?
Did you have any crazy judge calls during the event?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't have any judge call, I think.
Okay.
There was a crazy situation where I almost lost because I was stupid in top 16.
Yep.
Because it was like I won game 1. It was against adventure tier. I think straight up just adventure danger tier. I don't think there was like scare clause. It was 40 cards, so I don't think he could have fit everything. So like I won game 1 after like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, like decently long game. And then game 2 ended up being like kind of grindy. But it was looking losing, right? It was looking like I was losing because I was behind a little bit. But I was still like in there, and at some point I top decked sphere mode. And sphere moded him when I was on like 3 cards maybe, and he was then after that his extra deck was like super low and he didn't have a way to link off the sphere mode. And so he had to give it back to me, and he couldn't out it. He couldn't out it anymore.
Yeah, Sprite cannot out to the sphere mode. It can only out it with the smash. That's actually
he was playing tier. And he didn't have an out to it. He was playing tier and he couldn't out it. It's the same thing. I don't think they have like what does tier have to out sphere mode?
Nothing.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there's like anything that does it except for like Zero Boros, which I don't think he was playing.
Wait, actually nothing
Bomber,
else. Yeah,
Bomber can.
Yeah, Bomber can. Yeah,
But I don't think he was playing Bomber either.
Bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he didn't have an out left, and he couldn't link it off on his turn, so he gave it back to me, and it's like, at that point, it was like maybe 7 minutes left or something, and
like, I guess I'm gonna sit on it.
the thing is, I had less life, right? I had less life than him, but his deck was on like 5 cards, so I was like, if I draw a runic card to banish like 3, I'm probably decking him out, right? But the problem is like I draw droplets, he shovels my droplets into the deck with Kaleido Heart, I draw droplets again. And then I just like the game goes on into time when he has like 2 cards left in his deck.
Oh.
And then it's like 1-1 in time he wins game 2, right? And then we like pack up our stuff for game 3, and then the judge comes over and is like, you guys don't get to side deck, and you have to roll the dice again for who gets to go first.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how it is.
That's how
it is when game 2 finishes in time.
Yeah, that's how it is.
There is no win condition on time then without side decking 3 elements.
Yeah, for me neither though.
Yeah,
I got fine.
I didn't have. The thing is, I didn't have Resonator, right? So if I scoop game 2 with like 4 minutes left,
yeah,
I don't think I can lose.
No.
Because like he's playing adventure tier without hand traps. What's he gonna do?
Nothing.
My deck plays through my average opening hand plays through 8 hand traps.
Yeah.
And like
Alright, Triff. But yeah.
That's why it's perfect information, so you can play through 8.
No, but I mean that's true.
But like, for real, like how do you stop like this deck when you go first and you side out every single like non-engine, you side out like Lava Golem and everything, and all you put in is like Called by the Grave talents.
Yeah, it's all
and
it's all
stuff like that. It's impossible to open a hand that cannot play. It's impossible to open a hand that cannot play through at least 2 hand traps.
Yeah.
And so like if I simply scooped that earlier, I don't think I had a losing condition. And then like in that game we had to like roll dice again. My deck is like hella suboptimal because I still have like Sphere Mode in it. When I got to go first, but like my deck still has like all these cards like Sphere Mode and everything, and I like look at my opening hands, like Sphere Mode is right there. Like cool.
The ball.
I make like and like my end board, literally my end board, and the thing is too, right? They were like, you guys have 2 turns each, right? It's not sudden death in that scenario. It's not like you go first, you gain life, you win, or like your opponent pays life, he loses. It's not like that. It's like there's guaranteed to be 2 turns each. So I win the dice roll, and I have to decide like, do I go first or second? And I'm like, if I choose first now and I activate a runic card, I have 2 turns. I cannot attack turn 1. I don't have a battle phase turn 2. I don't have Resonator in my deck. What the hell am I gonna do? And then I'm like, okay, the only thing I can do is like make Jin Buster and hope he cannot even deal 500 damage. But like the thing is, the deck becomes a lot less efficient when you have to prevent every single point of damage, and you can't even take like 100 from like something attacking your Sprite Elf or something.
Yeah.
It was like really, really weird. And so like I ended up my hand ended up being like Fountain Draw 2 and then pass because I didn't have a single Sprite card. I ended up passing on Hugin in defense position.
Jeez.
And
that like never happens.
And like almost never. It was like
almost never
happens. I opened like Sphere Mode and 4 runics, and then Runic Fountain drew into 2 more runics. So it's just like I had only runics. And so like I passed. The good thing is that I mean he had the same problem. He couldn't side as well. So he had cards like Cosmic, he had cards like Instant Fusion that he couldn't basically use because like if he pays for Cosmic and then he can't kill me or like can't attack me, he doesn't win. So like he ended up drawing, I think after the game he said he opened the Cosmic Cyclone that he couldn't use, and then on the next turn I think he drew an Instant Fusion that he ended up using and then losing because of it. Because like the way it went is on his turn 1 he just like couldn't attack me because I would just like in battle phase I would just like summon runics over and over
spam
and
the
he
runics.
just couldn't get through.
Yeah, and Hugin like, goes back to the extra deck so you can spam infinite. Yeah,
it's just like I did a Gary to like block 1 attack, kill another monster, then another Hugin, something like that. He couldn't break through it. I drew 3 more cards, and then of course on the next turn I did have sprites.
Yeah.
So like after drawing 3 more, I would go like sprite combo, everything in defense, including a Jin Buster. Only Elf in attack, but I could banish it for Smasher, so there's nothing in attack he can attack over. Yeah, and like his situation then was like, okay, I skipped my battle phase on that turn. And I have a Jin Buster, and he's like, if he doesn't play now, I can simply attack him on the next turn. And like, so he has to do something. He has to play, but if he uses any monster, I Jin Buster, and if he doesn't do damage, the game is over, right? And so like, he started with Instant Fusion because he knew he had to do damage this turn anyways. Started playing, but ended up luckily not able to deal any damage because I just had like full setup, and he didn't have.
Yeah.
Didn't have much to break through it, luckily. But yeah, that was the most intense one because I was just like, damn, I should have scooped this sooner. I'm just like not used to playing towards a win condition like that. I was just trying as hard as I could to win game 2 when I guess I didn't have to do that because it was 1-0 up anyways. But you know.
Yeah, I think like time management is like important, more important than ever. I feel like just because of the nature of your deck, and also just because of how I feel like games actually take longer.
It's the nature of every deck right now, though.
Yeah,
it's like it's the same. I mean, the Sprite deck gains life with Resonator, but all the other decks do it too. So it's like whoever it's like time management close to time is like something that everyone
bro
can
It's so bad. I'm down to scoop game 1 ASAP. Like no cap. If I see a losing game state, I'm scooping that game 1 immediately.
That's the big downside to the Runic deck, right? The Runic deck takes forever to win, especially if your opponent doesn't surrender. Like the only reason why some of my games were like quick is because people realize there's no chance they're winning this game, right? Because my setup is like insane. After like they tried to play through it, I stopped everything, drew more cards with Fountain. They're looking at my field. They haven't cleared much. I still have like 6 cards in hand. I draw for 7. I start playing my next turn. I go like revive the Hyperia again, like all that stuff. Draw for Fountain again. They're like, all right, yeah, let's go game 2, right?
Yeah.
But like if they really wanted to,
they're stubborn.
If they really wanted to, they can like, you know, keep the game running for like at least like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something until I can actually like kill. So like if Runic loses game 1, it's like the reverse situation, right? Because my deck doesn't have hand traps. If they just scoop with 3 minutes left on the clock, they win like 95% of the time or something. So like it goes both ways. Which is why, even though, you know, my deck played Red Resonator and I won with it, but like I'm not a fan of the time rules because it creates those awkward scenarios, not only for my opponents but also for myself. It's like I still have to sometimes scoop game 1 super early because I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. I did that a lot actually in Ecuador. Like I stare down a board, like especially the live twin sprite deck, bro. That deck is like crazy. It's actually OD. I thought it was like free, but that deck if it opens the normal summon blue plus like sprite blue, you're like I was scrambling. Like it's just like,
the live twin opener is insane.
Yeah, like I was like, bro, please draw a lava golem, please. Yep, didn't see it. All right, game 2. Like I didn't even bother showing him. I just scooped. I was like, because if you don't, you just lose in time game 3. It's like frustrating. But yeah, 100%. So what do you think about the time rules? What would do you have any sort of recommendations? I've been taking notes from PRJ, aka Paulo on Twitter. If you guys don't know who he is, he always I actually met him in Quito again this past weekend, and he says that he likes making these statuses or these posts from time to time where he would talk about like game design and like you know, just like quality of life changes that he would like to see within Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you have any sort of those quality of life changes or like changes that you would like to see within like the design of the game right now from like a time perspective or things like that sorts?
I mean, I like about talking this type of stuff. I appreciate I appreciate Paulo talking about it. I think there's like as much as people hate the time rules, I do think there is good reasons for it to be whatever it is, because I think it's like important for staff to be able to manage tournaments in a reasonable fashion. So I think you should aim for like you need to have some solution for when the games end. It's simply the nature of the game that like you have to finish in some amount of time. The games have to finish so the tournament can move on. So you're not gonna have like the outcome that the game would normally have every single time, right? Because that's always the argument. It's like, oh, I lost the game that I should have won because of time. It's like it has to be like that sometimes, right? Because you need to find some alternative way of determining the winner when the time's up. So I think it's like arguing that like, oh, this player lost when he should have won, or this player won when he should have lost because of time, I think is not the right argument. But you should try and focus on finding a way that determines the outcome of a game as reliably as possible. By like you want to determine the one that probably would have won the game, like most likely, right? And I don't think that the current way does that the best. Like I think there's ways that could do that better. On another note, though, I think that cards that gain life points on the first turn in certain scenarios aren't the worst thing ever, because let's be real here, most decks currently in Yu-Gi-Oh, when they go first, they have a higher chance than the decks that go second, right? Of course there's exceptions to that, especially after siding, but I would say generally the player that wins game 1 and therefore gets to go first in game 3 is probably like in a vacuum, right? Without like ignoring what the two decks are and what the opponent is side decking and what his opening hand is. I think in a vacuum, the player that goes first game 3 probably has a higher chance of winning the match anyways. So like a card determining the win based on that is, even though it feels bad when you go second and you draw like a nutty hand that probably could have broken the board, is like the rule still makes it still makes sense in that scenario. Even though, you know, like you try to prevent that type of stuff still, but like it's not the worst thing in the world. I've heard some good arguments specifically from I think Thomas Rose has been like known for
Yep.
for talking and criticizing the time rule a little bit. He's had an interesting take. He's basically had two interesting takes on the time rules. One, that the current way they've tried to solve it doesn't really save us that much time in the tournaments, because while it is aimed at finishing the game like pretty much on the spot, right, when time is called, it's like you're supposed to basically already know who's going to win or not, which is fine, but it doesn't save that much time because it creates so many like controversial situations that judges need to handle. It's like it creates difficult spots, like, oh, he tried to enter the battle phase, or oh, we were still in my end phase, or he thought too much before he actually drew his card, or these types of things, right? And like, I don't know how it is like from the perspective of judges, right? I cannot say if that is true or not. I can't confirm or deny that, we have like, oh, the game should end immediately, but every round we have like 20-minute judge calls. That could be the case, because I do notice we still have decent amount of overtime in the tournaments every single time, because there's like people that have deck checks, so they get extra time anyway. So that's like at least 1 or 2 matches that go like 10 extra minutes usually.
Yeah.
And then you have like, I would think you have like 1 or 2 judge calls every round of like people, complaining how their opponent was going to win in time, and then judges have to handle it or whatever. And so maybe with a solution that has like less conflict potential, maybe it can be fine. Like I think the solution that he suggested was that every player gets 1 more turn, right?
Yeah, and I love
every
that,
player.
to be
Like,
honest.
I from a competitive perspective, from like trying to determine the real winner of the game, I think it's a little bit better. On the other hand, you could also argue that gives way too much advantage to the player going second. Because I mean, like I said, realistically, it's like you go second, it's not that easy to completely break a board. It's not that easy to completely win the game, turn the game around, but it is rather easy to inflict 500 damage.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, summon 2 big monsters, both attack your sprite elf. It's like, do you deserve to win that game? I don't know if that's much harder than summoning a red resonator from Gigantic Sprite.
Yeah.
To just like, I don't know, summon all your monsters in attack position, which would normally never be the correct play, and just run everything into your opponent's sprite elf until he has to take one of those attacks and take 100 damage or whatever. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect solution, and I mean, we know how long 1 turn each can take nowadays. So like, if my opponent's playing tournaments,
bro,
you can give him 1 turn as much as you want, but like, we're going 30 minutes over probably, or I mean maybe like 15. It's like that can happen.
The pendulum deck too, like Draco Slayer, takes like
I
so
think
much
there
time.
is the most important issue is the fact that people address the slow play at the game 3. You should address the slow play as soon as it happens in the game 1, because people are not gonna slow play you in the game 3. They are gonna slow play your ass in the game 1, and that's gonna be important in the game 3, because they know if they was 20 minutes on the game 1, you are gonna lose on time in the game 3.
Yeah,
it's just something that I don't think the time rules are going to change drastically. I don't, because and while I do think there's flaws with the current system, I can understand them keeping it the way it is, because like I said, I think in a serious discussion you can come up with like plenty of disadvantages of any other system as well, simply because there is no way to determine who would have won the game other than letting them play out the entire game, and that is not an option, because we need the game to finish around the time that time is called, right? And so like, you're always going to have a system that sometimes declares quote unquote the wrong person the winner, because that's the nature of having a timeout. Otherwise you could just like not have a time, and then like okay, then that's the only way to make sure the player that would have won the game if it was played out in actual time also wins the game, because like, no.
Yeah, I've seen Konami like try other things. I know like during the remote duel era, as you would call it, they would actually maybe this is also like for other formats. I'm not aware, but I know for sure during the remote duels times, they would actually make like top 8 55 minutes, top 4 like 65 minutes, the finals like 75 minutes even. So like there would be like no way it would ever go into time, unless you try but. So I thought that was like an interesting concept that they were trying, but then at the same time, it feels kind of not unfair, but it's it's a very different mindset to play with 75 minutes versus 45. And that was one of the things that people like complained about, where it was like, oh, in Swiss I played 45, but now you want to give someone like in 75 minutes or something.
It's also just like, it's a little weird. That would be, I think that would give out kind of the wrong signals as well, because it's just I think that's kind of just like a cosmetic change, because like throughout YCS, literally thousands of games or matches are being played in the first 11 rounds or 12 rounds, and then you want to like change your rules for what, 3 matches starting from top 4, or like 7 matches if you include top 8, whereas like 2,200 players play like 1,100 matches alone in the first round of the tournament. It's like, if you think those time rules are better, why are you only implementing them for like the last 3 matches out of, how many is it? 12 rounds times 1,000 matches is like 12,000 matches with other time rules. I don't think it makes sense. At that point, it would only be like a cosmetic thing to like, not have a finals be decided by time rules, just so that people don't complain on your social medias after. I think if you commit to making those rules your rules, then I don't see why not every single match of the tournament should be played with the same rule set, just to be like this. I mean, this is how the game works. I think it's just like this is what's in the policies. This is how it works, and I think everyone should play the same rules throughout the entire tournament. Right?
Totally. Yeah, bro. You know what's so funny? In Ecuador, I sided Red Resonator in with 20 minutes left on the clock, because I was like, yo, this game could really take forever. And like, worst case, I normal summon it, and I summon another level 2, which is the intended purpose, of course. But
I mean, with this deck, it's really stupid, because like you don't have a battle phase. So literally, if your opponent wants to, they can like keep playing, and you're probably forced to use runic cards, because like, how are you going to stay in the game if you suddenly stop using like half of your deck? So like, if they want to, they can make the game take a long time. So like,
So
Okay, but we saw some embarrassing scenarios during the YCS. Like during the streaming, there were this Guru player, for example. 2 minutes before the time was called, he was up on life points. He grinded like his entire extra deck out. He was like, he activated like 3 pot of extravagance, and he had what, 3-6 cards in the extra deck. Or actually no, 2 pot of extravagance, and he had 6 cards in the extra deck. My brother in Christ, he had nothing. Check his set, check the graveyard, check the extra deck. Check his set, check the graveyard, check the extra deck, check opponent.
I mean, that's just the thing that's down to the judges, though. At that point, that's not the fault of the time rules. That's something the judges have to catch.
Yeah, they have to adjust
and the opponent was like, "Yo, what's up, judge? Hey, I'm here."
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's like, I don't know what the reasoning for that would be in that scenario. Either the judges genuinely thought it wasn't slow play, in which case, I don't know. I guess you can't do anything. But I don't know if they're afraid to intervene on stream, but I don't think that's the case either. I don't know. I think that's on the judge then, right? In that case, if they allow that, it's I would agree that that's problematic, but then it's not the fault of the time rules, because that can happen, with any sort of time rule in effect. There's probably going to be some incentive. Yeah.
Those kind of time rules are very abusable. That's my issue. Like, Pac, do you remember when we're talking about some kind of situation, like if you have actually an interruption, you can slow play your interaction, even at the worst point, but just to gain that extra minus that might win you on time. You can abuse of that. You're gonna play suboptimally to let you lose your opponent.
I don't think the point we're making here is that like, oh, there's no way to abuse the time rules. I think the point is that like, regardless of what time rules there are, there's gonna be some way to abuse it, and obviously those people are gonna be some finessing in some sort of way. They're gonna be doing it whatever the time rules is.
Think of it of a different perspective. You're saying everyone should get one more turn, right? Everyone should get one more turn. And then imagine it's the other way around, right? Imagine it's the other way around. It's my turn. It's close to time, and the game doesn't end immediately if time is called, but rather every player has one more turn. So what I'm gonna try and do, or like what I would want to do, is like finish my turn as soon as possible, so that time is called on my opponent's turn, so that his turn is his last turn, and then I have another turn, right? So I'm gonna hurry up, and my opponent is gonna slow play his responses.
Yeah. Like there's gonna be
to
some
abuse it.
Yeah, there's like I think the thing is I think there's always gonna be some version to like do something bad, which I think it's like I'm not saying like it makes the time rules right now okay. It's just I don't know the solution. I think the thing that I think is more important to figure out is can we find a solution that makes sense? And I think that's what like people like Paulo and what people like Tom Rose try to do, which I enjoyed that dialogue more.
No, I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I respect
Which
that.
I also respect the. I don't think Konami is completely unaware of this fact.
Yeah.
I think the reason that we don't have one yet, like a different solution, is simply because they also struggle to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like we've been discussing about it right now. I think with every single solution, there is some way how it could potentially be abused, and you're really trying to make sure to make it better. I think the extra 5 minutes already are a step in the right direction. It shows that they do care a little bit about it. Because if they only cared about, oh, we want to finish these tournaments as soon as possible, we want to finish each round as soon as possible, they could have just not done that. And throughout like 11 or 12 rounds of Swiss, that would have saved like an hour.
Yeah.
In like 5 minutes. And then plus Top Cut is like, you save a lot of time during an event by not doing 5 extra minutes, and they still gave us that. So I think it's like, I think they do care, and I think if they genuinely thought that was a better solution, I think they would have probably implemented it yet. But it probably comes down to something like they might have thought about it and just don't think that a different solution has less issues. It might have different issues, like it might solve one issue of this right now, but then it might like open up other ones. And
why
that's
not
why
removing at the time win condition? Like, why don't removing the win condition combos? Like, for example, on time you cannot use FX to gain or lose life points.
But then you can't play cards like starter then. Like that kills
and then
like
and then
engine.
what? But then what? Like
I guess
what happens?
that are not
like
part
what
of your
happens then?
archetype? I don't know.
I mean, the player that goes first just loses every single time, though, right?
Because you get attacked. Yeah.
Because it's just like sudden death, right? I have to stop every single one of my opponent's attacks. It's super suboptimal. If I go first, I can make whatever board. If my opponent summons a monster with 1500 attacks my elf, I need an out for it, or I lose on the spot. It's not that deserving either, I feel
What
like.
if we make bot players have 4000 life points?
And
I'm joking. I'm actually serious.
I mean, okay, no. Okay, there is one thing that I genuinely think might be the best solution, and hear me out.
Okay.
So like and this is an idea that I have encountered in other card games. I think it's definitely that way in Pokemon. I think it's also that way in Digimon. And I you can correct me wrong if anyone knows, like you or in chat, but I think it's also the same in Magic. Is that if time is called and there has not been a winner decided, the game is a draw. So in Pokemon, if one player has, I don't know if you guys are familiar with how Pokemon works, but if one player has all 6 of his prize cards left and the opponent is down to 1, as long as the opponent is not able to finish the game, they have extra turns, but as long as the player is not able to finish the game in those turns, the game is a draw, no matter how close he is to winning. And I think it's the same in Magic. It's the same in Digimon. So, like, basically, in Yu-Gi-Oh, it would be equivalent to, like, it doesn't matter how much life you have. If you're not able to OTK your opponent, the game is a draw. And I would argue that could be a reasonable thing to do, because it would also end the games on the spot, because it's simply like, okay, maybe finish your turn. If you can OTK, fine. If not, then also fine. But I would argue that life points are not, shouldn't be considered the factor that determines who should be winning the game in Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that's not been the case.
Life points doesn't matter anymore in Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a while that life points don't matter anymore.
Hey yo, don't tell that to Jesse. My man said Spooky Dog win. But
I think that's reasonable. I think that is a reasonable take to say that, well, if you haven't been able to finish the game in time, we just call this one a draw. Also not a perfect solution. Like, if I'm making a freaking full combo board and that my opponent will never be able to break, I'm not happy that that's a draw, right? Simply because I wasn't able to attack for game on the next turn or whatever, right?
Yep.
Or like I make a huge push, like my opponent's board is empty, but I only pushed like 7,000 damage. They're left at 1,000. I'm not happy about not winning that game, right? So like every single solution has flaws. I think that one would be interesting, or is at least interesting to consider. But I think the more you think about it, at least at least the more I think about it, the less issues I have with the current one that we have, simply based on the fact of what I said earlier. I think in Yu-Gi-Oh, as the game is right now, the player going first has a higher chance of winning anyways. Yeah. So if that player is the one deciding the game in time, I think that is at least a solution that is maybe not the closest to determine the winner that would have won, but it is in the right direction. Yeah. It's like that player probably in a vacuum was more likely to win anyways. Bro, like if it's like I freaking hate losing to Flunder if they have the freaking quick play spell, but if Flunder full combos me going first, they probably would have beat me anyways.
Yeah, they would have cooked you anyways.
I'm not beating those birds. I'm not beating them birds. Like if they go first and full combo me, like yeah, okay, man, you got it. Like congrats.
Shout
like,
to
you resolved Empen and added a freaking quick play instead
Josh, I remember during your first streams after you came back and you were testing Flunder and you were like, why everyone hates Flunder? And now you are here sitting together in the Guucast hating on Flunder.
Flunder is crazy, man.
I mean, I looked at like I've never actually played a game with Flunder. It's actually just like I was like, how do these combos work? What do I need? And people were like, yeah, you just need like Robina. And I was like looking at the Robina combo and I'm like, why? It's kind of good, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bro, I saw someone in the chat. They were saying that what if we make it like chess, where like you play your straight out, you tap the timer, you gain some life, you pass it back. I thought that would be kind of funny, but
the problem
Yu-Gi-Oh takes too long.
The chess timer is like we have that in Master Duel, and in Master Duel it's actually possible, and I think it's quite convenient in Master Duel to have that, right? For each player to have his own timer. I think that would be, if that was possible, if we could make that happen, I think that would be a good solution. But the fact, like most of the time, it's just like these things switch back and forth without really like. When is the point where we switch the clock over? If I activate a card and my opponent starts thinking, it's like I have to put a card on the table and immediately slap the thing, right? And my opponent like doesn't want to respond. He like slaps it back as fast as possible.
I cannot wait. They would be like, set,
yeah.
You'd be like, you'd be like, oh,
you didn't click. Set.
Like trust me. You play one tournament with that rule, you want that old rule back. Like you want it back.
Yeah, I can already imagine. Duality, yo, go. Yo, you have Ash. You have Ash. You want to use it?
Yeah, you like activate Duality, immediately tap the thing, and your opponent's like, yo, I'm not going to. Like, it's like,
yeah,
nah.
So I was thinking more about it. So I know like you have Weiss's Dormant coming up. What do you have any sort of advice for players that I guess like are playing at the Weiss's level? Any sort of tips overall for them? Because I know we talked a little bit about having a good mental, but do you have any like other tips that you want to give people?
Like specific to YCS Dortmund in terms of like what the format is about, or just like in general?
Just
specific to Runix. Oh, sorry.
just go into YCS in general, because I think we've been seeing like pretty like good attendance at these YCSs so far, and more people are, especially like I honestly think they're coming from Master Duel, so shout out to Master Duel for that one at least. And they're playing like IRL Yu-Gi-Oh now. It's just because you've been playing the game for a long time. You played during the Stone Ages. I'm sorry, bro. So now it's like, you know, what any sort of advice?
I mean, I guess if it's your like first YCS, it's like you got to be prepared for it to be very mentally draining. I think it's very different from playing a much shorter locals or like an online like simulator or Master Duel or whatever. It's just like being able to play like from the comfort of just like being in front of your computer and stuff like that. I think is very different. But I also think it's what makes the game. I feel like I'm having more fun playing in person every time I play, so I think that's a good thing. But it does take some time to get used to just like the interactions, because like it's very different in terms of how to manage your stuff in like, you know, on DB or on Master Duel. You click on that pile and like your entire graveyard is just like fanned up in front of you.
Yep.
You look through your deck, your entire deck is just like on the screen in front of you. You can see like, okay, how much of that card do I have left? How much of that card do I have left? It's a lot of stuff it's a lot more information that you need to to grasp, but also just like, you know, picking up like reads of your opponent, like small things that is my opponent comfortable here? Is he thinking on dropping a hand trap? Which hand trap would he thinking about? Is he maybe like bluffing because there's no way he would ever use a hand trap here? Stuff like that. A lot of small things that might be overwhelming in the beginning that you'll probably get used to after a while, but I think that's what makes this game a beautiful IRL game, and is why I think like online simulators or platforms will not really be able to replace it in the long run, and that's why I would encourage everyone to play IRL Yu-Gi-Oh. Even though it has downsides of people, you know, being able to accidentally make illegal plays of time rules and stuff like that. It's things that come with playing an IRL card game, and I think instead of just like hating the IRL card game for some of its flaws, which they exist, but I think you can instead appreciate for all the things that make it special over online simulations.
Yeah. So going off that same topic, I know you I read a comment from Farfa in the Twitch chat. I hate him. He makes me laugh. But I know you played other card games prior, or not even prior, but like, you know, alongside Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I think I saw that you're pretty up there in Legends of Runeterra as well. I'm assuming you played probably a little bit of Hearthstone. Do you feel like the other card games help you with relation to Yu-Gi-Oh, or not really?
It's probably a bit of. It's probably more that Yu-Gi-Oh helps me with other card games because that's the one I started with.
Superior card
it's
game.
Like I have a very good feeling in terms of card games are a lot about statistics. Even though, I mean, it sounds like a very dry topic, but like a lot in card games comes down to your mentality and how to approach deck building and stuff like that. And I think it helps a lot to transfer these skills into different games, even though they like work slightly differently, but just like the aspect of, you know, how do I build the deck, how do I handle this, how do I like, because it's always a game of chances. It's like, should I play around this card or not? Is it worth playing around this card? Is it a winning play if I try to play around that card, or should I just risk it? And a lot of these concepts transfer into other games, even though like they're different in some aspects. Most aspects when it comes to card games are similar, or at least somewhat similar. So I would say it's something that because I've played Yu-Gi-Oh for so long, it's something that I'm both naturally good at, but also just like very experienced with, even when I start playing like other card games.
Also, would you consider slow play players waiting for the glow?
Waiting for what?
What?
The glow.
You
know, when you hold your cards and one of them shines, and you know that's the correct one to activate. The glow.
Bro,
okay,
Nesh,
no one got the joke.
Bro,
Let's proceed.
This is Nesh Pepegi jokes.
I got the joke. Don't worry, I got it. That was not the reason I didn't laugh.
Nesh was watching too much my boy Headset Battles.
Yeah, brother. It was so funny.
It's like, I got the joke, but we're not. Oh man. So bro, I know we're about to, I think, wrap up pretty soon. But yo, thanks again for coming on. I think yes, you have a lot of really good insight. And so for people who, like I said, want to get better at the game, or just want to, you know, just have some good laughs along the way, some Pepe Ds, check my man out, man. Joshua Schmidt. This is a 3-time YCS champion, a bunch of accomplishments. So definitely go check him out. His information is in the description box below. And we'll see you guys for another week of the Guucast. Peace.
When Joshua Schmidt goes to sleep, he's not simply Joshua Schmidt. He's a 3-time champion. YCS, Joshua Schmidt. When he goes to sleep, he's not simply Joshua Schmidt. He's a 3-times championship YCS Joshua Schmidt, getting his Sharai after an entire day of testing. So thank you for coming, Joshua.
All right, we'll play the remix. Enjoy, guys.